everyone. I am Lillian Chukura from Lillylegal. We are an immigration law firm based in Worcester, Massachusetts. We help our clients get status for themselves and their families using the U.S. immigration law system. We also represent clients in all 50 states and all over the world. And today, I want to show you how to check the processing time for your case. So this is where you filed a case with USCIS and you want to know how long does this type of case typically take, right? And then you can check it with your, check it against your timeline to see if it's matching up with what USCIS is telling us that it will typically take for a case like yours. Okay, if you have any questions about this or anything else immigration related, go ahead and book a time to speak with me by going to my website, lillylegal.com, or by calling my office at 508-443-1788. Now, let's jump right in. The number one question I get from my clients, potential clients, people, anywhere that know that that I am an immigration lawyer, the number one question I get is, oh, how long does this type of case take? How long does that type of case take? And I want to show you how to check this for yourself so you can be knowledgeable about how long a certain type of case may take. Okay, so today I'll be sharing my screen so I can show you exactly where to go to get this information. And in this situation, I'll also show you what tools or documents you will need to actually get this information. So the first thing, let me make sure I'm sharing this correctly. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is go to USCIS.gov. So go to the USCIS homepage and it will bring you right here. If you watched my checking your case status video or how to change your address with USCIS video, you know this is the starting point for a lot of these videos because USCIS really does have their tools on here for you. So the first thing, again, as always, is go to manage your case. That is the first thing you want to do when you are on here is go ahead. Okay, let's bring it back here and go to manage your case. That's what you want to go to on the USCIS website. Now, it's USCIS.gov, not .com. It will take you somewhere else. So USCIS.gov. And as you can see, quite conveniently under manage your case is check your processing time. So you can, if you watch my previous video, you'll see how to check your case status. And once you know your case status, you may want to also know how long does this type of case typically take? How long is USCIS telling me that this type of case takes? So check your processing time is how you would get that information. Now, the first thing you need to know is the type of form that you have. Okay, then the category, and then the field office or service center. Now, let's go over here to our sample receipt notice. So, form type typically will be the same as case type. So, we know this is an I-765 application for employment authorization. Okay, so that's what we know. So, we want to know how long will the application for employment authorization take to be processed. So that's the first thing. The next thing is asking you, what is it based on, right? What category are you applying under? So when you're applying for work authorization, there's many categories that you can apply under. And this is asking you, what category did you apply under? And we're just going to scroll through and you see right here, It says eligibility category C9. Okay. So sometimes USCIS doesn't make it, super easy, but if you are applying for employment authorization under asylum or any of those other categories, you will be looking at the different categories here. So we know it's C9 based on pending. Let me make this bigger because I want to make sure that you are seeing exactly what I'm talking about so that you do not get confused if you try to replicate this on your end. So right here, first option, we know it's a work authorization, right? Employment authorization. That's the first thing you click on. The next thing is the form category, which again, on your receipt notice, it will tell you the eligibility category. And on this one, the eligibility category is C9. So we go back to here, we know the form, and now we know the form category. And when we scroll through, we see that there is a C9 right here. So we go ahead and click on the C9, and we need to know the field office or service center. You get that. Again, your receipt notice has so much information. Let me just make sure you are getting this. Your receipt notice has so much information that you can use just your receipt notice to get this information to be able to check the processing time for your type of case. Okay. With your receipt notice, you have all the information you need. So from here, we know that your category is C9. Now we need to know the field office or service center. And what do you know? Right here. Okay. Let me go back to making that big for you. So right here, let's get that bigger. It says USCIS office address. So this tells you the office that is processing your application. In some situations, this will be different, right? If you are applying for a green card in the US, it will be a field office, your local field office, right? So the National Benefits Center is what this says. This says National Benefits Center. So we're going to select that as our service center, and we're going to click Get Processing Time. Right? From here, we can see just from entering 3 information, just 3, we're able to see how long it takes USCIS, the Benefits Center, to complete employment authorization application. So right here, you can see it says that it takes them 8.5 months to complete about 80% of their cases. So 80% of their cases is completed in 8.5 months. So 8.5 months is how long it's taken this particular service center, benefit center, to complete application for employment authorization. That means that for 20% of cases, it may be shorter than 8.5 months. It may be longer than 8.5 months, but the way to really, so this is just letting you know 80% of our cases is completed in 8.5 months. So be patient. If you fall in the 80%, this is what the time frame you have. This is the time frame you fall into. But if you are in the 20% of cases, that means your case may take longer or it may take shorter amount of time. So this is what you really want to know. I know when I show this to my clients, when I show this to potential clients, it does give them some peace of mind that their case is not like an outlier. Their case is still within the processing time. And it does make people feel better to know that things are moving, right? It makes people feel better to know that things are moving in the way that they're supposed to, and that, there's no unnecessary delays in their case. Okay. So right now, this is what we know. And a new thing on here. Of course, you can click here to check your case status. Watch my previous video on that. And then something that's new that they created is now down here, you can enter your receipt date, right? The date that you received your receipt notice, and it will tell you what date that you can ask USCIS questions about your case. So let's say they received your case on May 2nd, right? May 2nd, 2022, USCIS receives your case. So you get the case inquiry. So right here, it says your case is within normal processing time, right? Your case is processing normally. This means it is within the time frame that they just gave you, the 8.5 months. So there's nothing for you to worry about. When can you ask USCIS questions about your case, right? When is it outside of the normal processing time that they would actually answer your questions beyond telling you, oh, we're still processing your application? That's what this gets you, right? Get inquiry date. This means what is the earliest date that I can ask questions and not just get, we're still processing the case. And that is May 17, 2023. So that's about a year. So they do give themselves a buffer. Even though it says 8.5 months, that's for 80% of cases. So for you to ask questions, that means you may fall into the 20%. And when you can ask questions is May 17, 2023. And basically, I'll show you in a different video how to ask those questions. When you do this case, when you get the inquiry date and it says, oh, if this says May 2nd, 2022, instead of May 17, 2023, then you can actually do an inquiry and get some information from USCIS. I'll be showing you how to do that in a separate video, but it's really important to know this information because the same information that's here is what we have access to. We don't have any special line to USCIS. We do have access to basically get this information, know when we can request we can submit an inquiry and get more information from USCIS. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you, because it's one thing, right? It is one thing to check for a case like this where it is at a service center. If your case is at a service center, it's so much easier, right, to get the processing time. Now, if it's not at the processing center, so let's do a 485, which is the green card application itself, adjustment of status application. So we start there. Now it's going to ask you the form category. So this is asking, what is the basis of you applying for a green card? If you're applying based on marriage, it will be family-based. If you're applying based on an employer, it will be employment-based. So there's so many different categories. So you just need to know where you fall into. Most of my cases are going to fall into the family-based adjustment. But again, if you were granted asylum, you are able to go ahead and choose that category as well. So family-based adjustment applications, this is for spouse, parents, children, anything that falls on the family-based, okay? And then from here, this is where it gets tricky, right? Because on the receipt notice that I showed you, it says USCIS office address, and this says National Benefit Center. But on a 485, it may say like Vermont Service Center, California Service Center, but that does not mean that's where your case is actually finally adjudicated. So there's a service center and then there's a field office. For the I-485s, the final decision is made by the field office, not the service center. And this is why this matters. It matters because if the field office is making the final decision, that means you need to know the processing time of your field office. Okay, if the field office is making the decision, you need to know the processing time of your field office and not just the service center. So for Form I-485, I am based in Worcester, Massachusetts, as many of you know, and most of my clients are either in the Massachusetts area or all over 50 states. So I need to know what field office they are, their case is going to be pushed to. So from here, you will see different field offices based on states, right? So in Massachusetts, there's 2 field offices. There's the Boston one and the Lawrence. Okay. In New York, there's several because New York is a bigger state and spread out more. So for New York, there are multiple field offices, so you need to know which one actually services your address. I'll show you how to check that in a few. So let's choose Boston just because it's right there. So how long is Boston taking? So 80% of Boston cases are taking 13 months. So 80% of adjustment of status based on family in Boston, right? People that will be interviewed in Boston or have their case processed in Boston is taking about 13 months. And of course, it still has that get date inquiry, get your inquiry date, so you can go ahead and do that as well, just to see when you can actually ask them, what's going on here? Why is it taking so long? So 80% fall into the 13 months. So keep that in mind. Now, you could be, for example, like I said, the other office is Lawrence. Lawrence may have a different processing time than Boston. So Boston is taking 13 months. Lawrence, 80% of their cases is 11 months. So 11 months, 13 months. So depending on where you live in the state, so even though it's in the same state, it still comes down to where you live in the state. So someone that lives in, let's say, actual Boston is going to be interviewed in Boston. Someone that lives in Central Mass, like Worcester, Leominster, Fitchburg, is going to be interviewed in Lawrence. So just know that there is that difference there when it comes to, even if you're in the same state, your field office is what controls. So like I said, there is a bunch of New York field offices. They're going to have different processing times. Sorry, I wish I could make it like a lot easier, but that's just how that works. Now, most people want to know next is, how do you get your if I can spell today, how do you get your field office? How do you know which one is your field office? So first thing to do, go to USCIS.gov. As always, go to the tools and scroll down. Okay, USCIS tools and services. And right down here, it says office locator. That's what you need. You need the office locator. And again, you go to USCIS.gov, you go to the tools, you go to USCIS tools, and you scroll down and you see the office locator. That is really important. And then once you get here, you click on field offices. That's what you want to see, field offices. If your case is an asylum case, you can also click on asylum offices, so you know which office based on your location will be handling your interview, will be handling your case decision. So go ahead, click on field offices, scroll down. They give you a lot of information, but sometimes it is hard to get to what you want. Okay. And then finally, all the way on the bottom, which I think like they should put this higher up, but they do have it all the way on the bottom of their of this page. So right here, you put your zip code and search. Okay, I'll put a random zip code, 0. So let's search for that zip code, and as you can see, it is Lawrence, Massachusetts is the field office. So this tells you that your case will be processed in the Lawrence field office. So now you know the field office that services your zip code. So when you come in here, you're not just guessing. You're not guessing which New York field office. You're not guessing which California field office. You're able to pinpoint which field office is going to service your area and be able to select that and basically get your processing time. So I'm just selecting a random one. So Las Vegas is taking them 17 and a half months for 80% of their cases. So this is really an important tool because it gives you so much more information. You're able to basically log in here. Go on this website, get your processing time. You go on the USCIS website to also get your field office if you do not already know your field office. So for all my cases, I know their field office because, again, this is all we do here. So for every single case, we already know what field office is going to handle it so that we're able to properly check the processing time for these cases and keep on top of them. So this is a way for you to go ahead, check your processing time, know your field office so that you know where you'll be interviewed, and you can also check when you can do a case inquiry. And in the next video, I will most likely be showing you how to do a case inquiry. So again, these are all for USCIS cases. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. You can do so through my website, lillylegal.com, or by calling my office at 508-443-1788. And as always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you get something out of it. I like these how-to videos because it gives you more power over your case. It empowers you to know more, to have more information, and to make decisions from a place of knowledge. So that's why I put these out there. So if you like this video, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button. If you know someone that needs to hear this, or if you found this video really helpful and you think everyone should know about it, go ahead and share this video. And if you are watching in a place that you can subscribe, like my YouTube channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And as always, I am Lillian Chukura. I am the owner of Lillylegal, where we do immigration law and we do it well. Bye for now.